People in life are looking for, how do I make a life worth living and retirement worth having? I'm sitting here on a beautiful evening looking kind of at the stars, but also at the lights in the parking lot and the different places that I get to sit and relax after I've had a long day of working. People don't think I'm working, but in truth I am working. I'm providing information to people who are smart enough to gather it. If they're smart enough to gather it, they're smart enough to look into it, and they're smart enough to prevent problems from happening. You see, the problem is that when people don't prevent problems, which is what we call preventive maintenance, there are more problems that incur. When they don't follow the rules of life, they literally lose their life in that problem. They almost always lose in terms of finances because they can be sued, lawfully and legally sued, for their ill will, their ill-gotten ideas, and using their opinion instead of federal law that protects all human life and all human rights. In life, we have moments of time to show who we are in the house of the Lord. We are always liable to the Lord, and this is something that I talk about regularly in my audio casts and also in my regular presentations in front of a wide variety of spiritual groups. People who are looking for soul, people who are looking for the magic of Jesus to still be present and alive in today's world. The truth is, I experience that every single day. I literally follow where the Lord leads me. I take myself to those places. The Lord shows me the deal I'm supposed to purchase, and lo and behold, that thing that I wanted for $20 or $30 is now on sale for $2. Amazing how that works, isn't it? When you submit your life to God, He handles things, and He is generous and He is kind. I received some generosity today towards my homeless initiative, which I'm most grateful for. It allowed a man to eat, and it allowed some more funds to go for the next day. That's how we build a business practice. When we don't talk about real life, when we don't talk about real love, when we don't talk about peacekeeping techniques, we literally miss out on everything the Lord has planned for us. We keep our own counsel, and that is the foolishness of the world. To keep your own counsel means that you think without praying. You don't meditate to receive the Lord's blessings on anything in life, and you go forward in things that make no sense to others around you. Yes, it's true, it's your life and you can do with it what you will, but the problem is your life impacts others. And when you don't prevent a problem, meaning when you don't follow through on investigating something that a prophetically skilled person tells you about, that's on your head, on your life, and on your responsibility, not only to God in heaven, but also to the community in which you serve. When you don't think about what you serve and who you serve, you literally lose your rights. When you violate the rights of the Lord, when you interfere with God's plans for other people's lives, you literally put your entire life and your entire family in jeopardy. How do I know this? Because I've experienced it personally. What I've seen is I've seen elder siblings violating the law, interfering in life, refusing to allow someone to live their life without their constant interference. No matter how many times they've been told off, no matter how many times they've been told to leave a person alone, they just don't stop. Now, what's the difference? There are other people who might say that to you. There might be other people who say that to me. But the reality is that when a person is in love, they have the right, underneath God's laws in heaven, to propose marriage to that individual. As a person who has only proposed marriage once or twice in his lifetime, I find it offensive that someone who has received the marriage proposal is so immature that they don't have the fortitude and the capabilities to sit in front of someone and to literally discuss their response, whether it be pro or whether it be con, in response to a pursuant. A pursuant is someone who is pursuing a hand in marriage. A hand in marriage means not a hand out, doesn't mean a hand up, it means a hand to hold, a heart to withstand, and a spirit to help soar. When we talk about these things, what do you think? When we talk about these things, how do you feel? When we talk about these things, are you reminded what you chose your own life partners for, or are you reckoning the fact that you don't have one because you have not yet planned for your life? You have not produced enough social skills, or you've not produced enough social networks to produce the person that is right for you. How do you know who's right for you? This is something I teach on all the time. Not only do I help husbands and wives get closer and more intimate through my counseling, particularly of their wives, but in reality, I tell them the truth, that if they are not providing love, honor, and regard to their spouse, and they're putting all their energy in their children, they will never have the love that they're looking for. In life, we have moments of time to show someone how we feel, but when you lie, when you steal, and when you cheat someone out of their lawfully wedded husband or wife that the Lord has provided to them, you and your life and your kin are in incredible sin. Incredible sin. And I know this from all the books of the Bible, all the passages in the Bible that teach these tenets, that teach these principles. It's not about coveting someone's wife. It's about whether or not the Lord has made a plan that is different than man's plan. You see, men and women go into relationships thinking they are in control. They rarely say, God, you're in control of my life, and I'm going to let you choose for me who is right for me, heart, mind, soul, and body. Rarely do they do that. They look at someone for their looks, they look at someone for their finances, they look at someone for ability to just stop working and have the freedom of someone else's payment or income or resources, but that's not really lawful. It's not the way the Lord chooses a life partner. In my lifetime, I received literally thousands of signs for one person. Since the time I was a child, through the time of college, through today, I have gotten that individual's name. And I didn't really recognize it until I started to backtrack in my mind the number of times that that information has come across my path throughout my lifetime. It was sort of a shock when I recognized the issue in the college days, but that's okay. What I'm saying is that when you make a pact with the Lord, when you say, Lord, will this come to pass? And how will it come to pass? And when will it come to pass? You're kind of getting impatient. But at the same time, there are people who try to push things forward, but they don't play well with others. They don't do things correctly because they don't submit. They don't recognize who they are in the relationship. If you're a man, you pursue a woman, usually. That's typically how it's done. Women who pursue men don't usually end up with the right men. We've sort of learned that throughout history and research. No offense to those of you who did find the right man. But what I'm saying is the woman submits to the man. It's very easily discovered and talked about in the Bible. But here's the thing. We are talking about the souls of men and women. We are not talking about their physicality. Because let's look at some of the leading Christian authors, leading Christian speakers of the day. Some of them have no hands. Some of them have no feet. Some of them have special needs, and yet they have found a loving spouse who may be fully functioning in terms of their ADLs, or possibly not, and yet they still have found love in their souls and in their hearts for one another. You see, it's the souls that intertwine. It's the love that is found in those relationships that the Lord honors. When someone, a maliciously intended person, starts to monkey in someone's medications, someone's head game, someone's intelligence, someone's emotions, someone's spirituality, you are playing God in someone's life, and you will pay in hell for it. There is no way around that. You cannot blame someone else for the hell you've gone through, and I can promise you, producing a new relationship instantaneously with someone is never going to produce for you the lifetime love that the Lord has planned for you. You must be patient, but you must also give the Lord secret code words. You must also know that true lovers can talk with each other across space and time. We've known that throughout history, that when people genuinely love someone, they can hear through the spirit realm. They can feel and touch through the spirit realm. And I'm not going to go into this in too much detail, but I know it's possible, I know it's true, and I know that the one for me is not the one for you. In life, we have moments of time to tell someone how we feel. Well, here's how I feel wouldn't help you at all. Here's how you feel doesn't help me at all. Because why? Because it's not your life. It's my life. And it's not my life. It's your life. So when I'm talking like this, I'm reminding you of your life, that it is a certain time period in your life, a certain age and a certain station, a certain position and a certain career. And if you're not there yet, where you can retire and have everything you need in life, then it's time to make a change. It's time to get on track with the Lord. It's time to submit your life to God and pray that He will open the doors that need to be opened, slam shut the ones that need to be shut, and you're a fool if you allowed things to take way too long to conclude, because it means you're still damaged from that relationship. Now, I'm not going to talk too much further about this, but I have been utterly abused and manipulated, molested, raped, and everything else. So please, don't think you know something about my life. Just because I articulate what has happened doesn't mean you understand the experience, doesn't mean you understand who did it, doesn't mean you understand why they did it, and it certainly doesn't mean that you have a right to comment on it. When I tell you parts of my story, it's to produce a result. It's not to produce anything for myself per se, but it's to say that a homeless man became homeless because liars of the land took away his rights, interfered with his ability to create resources and income, and literally obliterated his bank accounts, his records, his medical records, his legal freedoms, and other civil liberties and mobilities that are honored to every citizen of America underneath the Constitution, the First Amendment rights, if you will, and the amendments, if you will, and also the International Declaration of Human Rights. So in my lifetime, I may talk ad nauseum about politics right now, but our politicians are losing ground because it's not that they're not fighting an ugly fight with the current incumbent. It's because they're not producing new ideas that people can latch on to in simple triplicate mantras that allow people to understand why are they voting for them. Thanks for listening.